Right. Good evening, and thank you very much. Right. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining me again today. And this is going to be a very, very quick update on the court case that took place today. This is the first time that Tshabangu, Sengezo Tshabangu, the self-proclaimed CCC Secretary General, has actually taken Nelson Chamisa and the CCC to court. And I just want to come here and give you the update of what has happened in court today. And what happened in court today is that obviously the judge looked at all the paperwork, and the important thing is that the CCC of Nelson Chamisa was also now in court, and also the record MPs, they were in court. They have filed papers, but Nelson Chamisa has still not filed papers. On the other side was Sengezo Tshabangu, who claims to be the CCC Secretary General, interim Secretary General. And the judge has reserved judgment. There's not been a judgment today. In fact, what happened is that the lawyer of Tshabangu, when he came out of court, he gave the impression that there's been a judgment and that he has won their judgment. But it's not true. There's been no judgment on the case. So let's look at the essence of the case. The case was that Tshabangu wanted the CCC MPs that were recalled by himself not to be able to contest under CCC. As you know, that there's now two candidates in most places for the CCC. So Tshabangu was saying, if I recall an MP, they can't go again and contest under the same party which I lead. And this is where the judgment has been reserved. And the lawyer of Tshabangu came out celebrating. I don't know what he was celebrating. I talked to him this evening, and I asked him if the judgment has been reserved. That is Ngobani Stole. And he said to me, which one? Which case? But he knows what he said. He went out there and he pretended as if he has won the court case, which is not true. The judgment is going to be delivered probably after this by-elections, because there are two sets of by-elections now, which have been gazetted. So this particular by-election on Saturday the 9th is going to go ahead with two candidates. But what I believe is going to happen is that in the second set of by-elections, if the CCC of Nelson Chamisa files under the same name as Tshabangu, depending on what will have happened in the first by-elections, then the court is probably going to rule in the favor of Tshabangu. Because remember, ZANU-PF has got a broader objective. They do not just want to hold the by-election. ZANU-PF has got a broader objective. They want to put key people into parliament. They probably want to reshuffle and put some people who are going to be ministers and so forth. So there is a big objective that ZANU-PF is pushing here, on top of the two-thirds majority, which they're also pushing. And you know the theories around the two-thirds majority, which is that they want to amend the constitution so that President Mnangagwa can run for a third term. This is basically what people are postulating or assuming is going to happen if the ZANU-PF manages to get a two-thirds majority. So it's not simple. Right, so let me wrap up. In summary, the judgment has been reserved. Tshabangu wanted all the CCC MPs who were recalled not to contest under the name CCC, so he wanted them to be putted out as candidates. That has failed. So everyone is going to contest under CCC. There'll be two candidates in most places. One CCC candidate for Tshabangu, one CCC candidate for Chamisa. And the judgment is going to be delivered most likely next week after the elections. But you know the courts in Zimbabwe, they might surprise us and deliver the judgment earlier. But as far as what I know now, they're going to deliver this judgment after the actual by-elections. So this is what we have for today. I have not heard any update on Ngaruvume. I'm going to give you that update in the morning. I have not heard any other breaking stories today. That has been the big story of the day. The court case, Tshabangu versus Chamisa, CCC. but Chamisa has not submitted an affidavit. This is going to be a key issue, because as long as Chamisa, who is the president, is not saying Tshabangu is not my member, the courts are going to continue to give these judgments in favor of Tshabangu. And I find it very, very tricky. It's very tricky for Chamisa. And as I say, as far as I'm concerned, it's better for Chamisa to form a new outfit and properly structure it, put people in those structures. But the foundation of everything that Chamisa is doing now should be the diaspora, not in Zimbabwe, because the elections in Zimbabwe, they don't mean anything. So there needs to be a separate and different approach to Zimbabwe's problems. Chamisa should focus on SADC, and he should focus on the international community. He should forget about ED and his people. He should forget about going into an election. Imagine if Chamisa was going to go against Mnangagwa in 2028. Does it make sense? So the elections don't make sense at all, given what is happening now, what is transpiring in Zimbabwe. It's a circus. And I know that Chamisa will not be going back into such an election. Right. Let's look at Godfrey Shava Mofu. Simbach Kanza is the only investigative journalist. Yes, it's true. Simbach Kanza is the only investigative journalist on Earth. That is on Earth, Mars, Venus. Simba's ghost is So let's go to other comments. Hello, say, how are you today? Yes. And Pakai Pazanpiev is a satanic party. Satanic is an understatement in terms of what they're doing right now to people, to ordinary people. Terry, good night to you. And sorry, guys, I think my network is a bit erratic. My power is about to go. And today I've been all over the place. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is we all want a better Zimbabwe. And the better Zimbabwe will start from us understanding what's going on. And currently, there's a lot of things that we do not understand as Zimbabweans. There is a lot that we do not understand. And in terms of our politics, our leaders are not reachable. We're not able to hear what they think. Like now, I'm really concerned that I cannot see Chamisa talking. And I've remarked to some of my friends that it could be possible that they have put Chamisa under house arrest. And this was just a joke, right? But I've said to myself, Chamisa is a person that when he goes in front of a mic, he makes a point very, very clear. And I find it very difficult to understand why Chamisa is not out there talking and expressing himself on this issue in one broad press conference, where he comes out and talks and describes what is happening and gives a view of what is the way forward. And I said to my friends last week, and they were laughing. They say, Gabagwe, theories are too much. And I said, what if ED has put Chamisa under some sort of house arrest and Chamisa is not able to do what he's supposed to do? Because there's no way that he can be so quiet. And what if they're checking his phone and they're just tweeting like all this stuff that is tweeting? Because the spokespersons of the CCC, they're not out there talking. The Chamisa himself is not there out talking. Mkwananzi is not out there talking. So basically what we're hearing is Ngobani's Tole getting away with the narrative. Like today, there was no narrative from even the lawyers of the CCC. I didn't see them speaking. So CCC guys are not coming out to defend this position in public, because this is not a court case. This is a political issue. So this needs to be dealt with from a political perspective and from a point of view of actually talking to the people that follow Chamisa, describing what is going on. And this is what I think needs to be done. Because Tshabangu, right now, his lawyer is out there lying. That was a blatant lie, what he did there. When he got out of court, everyone was thinking Tshabangu is won, but he didn't win. So let's see. I think we now need to see if Chamisa is fine. If they've not got 100 people guarding him to make sure that he doesn't talk, because this is too much now. The Tshabangu issue needs to be killed immediately. We need him to come out and state the facts. And the right forum for that kind of thing would be a press conference where Chamisa sits there and describes and answers all these questions that Tshabangu has been going about, talking about. Oh, I formed the MDC Alliance. I created the logo. I'm the one who brought ZANU-PF and Tsvagirai together. I'm the one who did this and that. All these things that he's saying, I was the campaign manager for Chamisa. That needs to be answered. Was Tshabangu a campaign manager for Chamisa? Because you might find out that this is a fake story that Tshabangu is getting away with. And we need this thing to come out and we deal with it. Toti, you say I'm sick, right? I told you guys that I'm extremely frail right now. Like I was telling guys that the only thing I can lift is literally like light objects. I can't lift much heavy stuff. So Toti, you're right. I'm extremely sick. Then let's go to Haibo to Nyasha. Nyasha is saying, I think Mkoma Gabaku, you know how these guys are kwenda kuno protect my rights, how they can get killed and abducted broad daylight. Imagine Mkoma Zim is suffering. That's true. People are suffering in Zimbabwe, but there is a way out of this, and the way out of this is to go the SADC way. I said it before. SADC has got a written report that said the election was rigged. The Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission has got a written report that said the election was rigged. AU has got a written report that said the election was rigged. EU has said it in writing and on a press conference that the election was rigged. Who else is left? The only people probably is South Africa and President Ramaphosa. Those are the two people who seem to support President Mnangagwa. But everyone else says and agrees that the election was rigged. So if I was Chamisa, I'll come out and address this Tshabangu thing. If Chamisa forms a party today, a new one, you'll be just as popular. You get as many votes as he's getting now. And Tshabangu and the rest of the guys, they can keep that CCC that they've got. And you'll see what will happen. Watch what is going to happen in this weekend's by-elections. Then you understand that it's a waste of time. These guys are going round and round in circles. Chamisa is not going to lose his support. His support is very, very firm and fixed. But we need better communication. We need better structures. We need things to work and to be done. Things must be done. The CCC must not just be a phantom party. That I've said in the past. Because if you're going to take office in a country like Zimbabwe, there's a lot of work to be done. And that work needs to be done by people that you can see. Kuti, if I look at this guy, if we put him in this position, he's going to deliver. Look at what ED has done with his appointments. After he appointed everybody, who have you seen who has outperformed or who has shined in his first 100 days? There is no one in ED's government who is capable right now. They put the old guys with the old ideas, whereas Zimbabwe needs new ideas. And the new ideas that we need, there's consensus among everyone in Zimbabwe. Everywhere you go, even among ZANU-PF people, there's consensus that there needs to be change. But the stumbling block is these guys like ED, when they're being told by Chamisa, let's have dialogue. Dialogue doesn't mean we've concluded. Just to come and sit down and talk. It's taking them so long to understand what he's saying. So I want to stop here today. And obviously ED was in Bulawayo, where he was keeping graduates. And let's see how many of those graduates are going to get a job. And you see, I'm a NAST graduate. I left NAST in 2001. In the past, let's say 22 years, I've worked for about 15 companies. And out of those 15 companies, I've worked for 5 companies in Zimbabwe. And I was a senior manager within my first 5 years of working. I bought my first car 3 years after I graduated. I bought my first house 4 years after graduating, and I had a clear picture of where I was going with life until this situation got here. A graduate in Zimbabwe right now, they do not know what is going to happen because, first of all, there's no job. Secondly, there is no prospect in Zimbabwe, and the avenues are being closed in the UK, in South Africa, everywhere. Avenues are being closed. So the consensus that I'm always talking about, the generational consensus, needs to come in. It's no longer about ZANU-PF and CCC, and I think Chamisa is on the right path. Dialogue is a necessity. This is where we need to go. All this thing of by-elections, Tshabangu, and so forth, it's a waste of time. And this is what we all need to agree. That's where we need to have consensus. And people need to forgive each other. That's also another thing. People need to find each other and discuss and move forward. There's no one who's going to help people in Zimbabwe except the Zimbabweans themselves. So thank you very much, and I'll be back in the morning. I want to give you guys an update of all the latest news. This is Christmas time. I know most channels have actually slowed down, so I'm going to pick up the pace. Our guys have gone on leave, so I'm the only one who's left now, and the news readers. So if you see our websites, they're probably not getting updated until January. We give people leave to go and see their families and so forth. There's a lot of work being done at Gambaku Media, and there's also a lot of future plans. And myself, I want to play a very, very key role in what is going to happen in Zimbabwe. And I've always said to everyone that the media plays a key role. That is why you see myself, Hopo Chingono, Simbachkanza, all these guys. You can see me fighting with Hopo or fighting with Simbachkanza, but it's at the surface. Deep down, we do agree on the basics, which is that people need to say what they need to say. When they say it, they need to go home and sleep peacefully, knowing that nothing is going to happen to them. Under ED, right now, there is no one who's safe. When ED came into office, he made certain promises about press freedom, about reforms, about things working differently. But all that has changed. With the latest rigging of the elections, this has really, really messed up everything for the whole country. And this is what needs to be fixed. And I can't believe I have been talking about elections since July, sitting in this chair every night, talking about elections. And all of you watching me about elections. Nothing moving. We should be talking about the new developments happening in Zimbabwe, the new ATMs, the new banks opening, investment coming to Zimbabwe, and so forth. But nothing is happening in that country. And this is really where we are, and we need that consensus. That generational consensus is necessary. And this is where we need to start. We don't need to go to all these other things that are happening, which mean nothing. The guys like Tshabangu, guys like Ngubani Stole, guys like Jonathan Moyo, they're missing the picture right now. They don't understand what is happening. They're just increasing the suffering of the people with their behavior. All right, thank you very much, everybody, and good night to you all. See you again in a few hours' time when I give you the morning bulletin.